Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Baka.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Alright, before we get to what we've played this week, we're going to go ahead and talk about what is going on in the world, which everybody at this point should be quite...
Acutely aware.
Yes, acutely aware of the war that was started suddenly over in Ukraine from Russia's side. We've got some articles that we'll talk about for that. And we, as our community, strongly support Ukraine in this side and condemn
My
Russia for
colors
what
even
they
behind me
doing.
are Ukraine.
Damn,
Yes.
Nice.
Hey, good shit. And condemn Russia for this. There is no reason for this to be going on. It is awful what is happening, and much, much, much respect to the Ukrainian people for fighting off a failing army as of Russia's. So, yes, I will go ahead and throw some shade in there, because definitely got our piece.
And I would like to state that at least from my personal viewpoint, I'm assuming a lot of you are the same way too. I don't look at this as a Russian people problem. I look at this as a Russian government problem.
Yes.
100%.
So please, if you know somebody that's Russian, please be nice to them, because unless they're touting how great their leader is, at the end of the day,
They probably
they're
don't
not
want
bad
this
people.
anymore than we do.
Exactly.
yeah, the amount of protests and stuff that's going on, St. Petersburg, Moscow, places like that,
Yeah.
it shows they didn't want this, and they continue to show up time and time again and get arrested, and they don't care. They just want to go out and make sure that everybody understands it's not them.
Most
It's-
people at this point in general are tired of the fighting and the wars and
Mhm.
Yes.
Exactly.
the government bullshits and
And from America, we know exactly what it feels like to have the minority speaking so much louder than the majority and being led by someone who we feel is completely inept. So we completely understand what is happening, and I hope that this gets resolved in
Super fast.
in a way that is beneficial for the Ukrainian people. They absolutely deserve it, because they are fighting tooth and nail
Yeah.
as hard as they can. So much respect to them. And like I said, we've got some articles. There are multiple companies that have started putting funds to humanitarian aid to help them. So if you want to help support them, CD Projekt Red is one of them. They are donating they're donating money to the humanitarian aid to help support them. The developers who made This War Is Mine is donating 100%. Yeah, This War of Mine is donating 100% of proceeds from the game to more aid for Ukraine, and I think Steam also said that they are donating their percentage too. For any sales of that game to there. So like 100%. Even Steam's not taking their cut. They're sending all the money over as best they can. So
And if you haven't played that game to start with, it's literally about what's happening right now. It is based on the fact of the civilians living in an area of wartime. Has nothing to do with soldiers, so it's very interesting in that respect. But it's also, if money can go that way. If I didn't already own it, I'd be buying it again.
exactly.
So just because I know the money's going there. Also, for the CD Projekt Red, we'll try to make sure that Griff puts down the link below for the for that charity as well. So please make sure you click on it and try to help everybody out as you possibly can with this, because this is, in my lifetime, I've seen some stupid things. I'm older than everybody else here. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen, and one of the cruel things I've ever seen. And it's the first time since World War II that we really had an issue like this, and it's just insane to me. Absolutely.
Yep. The other one is Ubisoft is providing additional funds, advanced salaries, and alternate housing to their staff in Ukraine. They've got 2 studios in Ukraine. One is in Kiev and the other is in Odessa, and they are paying for those people and their families to be moved out of Ukraine for their safety, which, again, much respect. Like, everybody is trying to do what they can, and like I said, I'm sure everybody has seen the global presence on their opinions of this. So everyone's trying to do what they can. The other Ukraine game developer that is speaking out too is the GSC Game World. They're the ones who have made Stalker, The Sinking City, Sherlock Holmes games.
which
So
is
they are
disturbingly a game that might end up becoming reality. The Stalker games.
So it's kind of understandable that they're going to be delayed and they're not going to be able to work for a while until this is resolved, if ever. Hopefully it is resolved. So they're also one of the teams that have helped make Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Origins more accessible to the world too, doing some work on that. So I hope that for the best for all of those people in Ukraine. And it just sucks that this is where we're at. I mean, I've seen plenty of memes, and I am just tired of living through global issues. It is really getting tiresome. I mean, it just seems like it's
the
one
last
after
3 years
another.
have been something else.
Yeah.
I'm just saying right now.
Yeah.
So, and we're not even. I mean, we're just starting this year.
Yeah, I know,
It's
right?
the 20s,
Like,
man.
Can we not,
It's
though?
the 20s. Like,
I
holy
thought
shit.
the irony though, like, was it 2020 when there was like a thing with North Korea just before the pandemic hit? There was that whole World War III thing trending on
Yeah.
Twitter, and now we're actually dealing with something that's very similar. So it's like,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, it can escalate to that, which is part of the worrying part, is that the Russian government is posturing pretty damn hard, and it is also seeming like they are getting very desperate. So we use games for an escape, but sometimes we have to face reality, and this is reality for some of our gaming brothers and sisters and our developers and everybody else who has made a life. I've watched Twitch streamers who streamed walking down their blocks to have missiles go overhead. It is surreal and really scary for them. So my heart goes out to them. I hope this gets resolved, and I hope they get their freedom back.
Yes.
So
It also shows you, if you're not paying attention, how powerful the world as a whole is, how a group of people, how powerful they are. I think what part of the mentality is that we've all kind of grown apart over the last 10 years or so, because of the different opinions of politics and everything else. But to see NATO get together and be like, hey, we're going to protect, we're going to do what we're supposed to be doing. And then to see that you have all these, Elon Musk is like, you need that done within 10 hours. It was done.
Yeah.
And Ukraine had asked for some type of service because their Wi-Fi had been cut off. So it's like figuring out a way to everybody work together to make sure that bullies of the world. I mean, being a nerdy kid growing up, like dealing with bullies of the world, if we can all just grow up and just be like, look, that's an old school mentality. We're all one world now. Please,
Stop
you
being
have a
stupid.
beautiful country, absolutely beautiful country. If you've ever seen like shots of Russia and stuff like that, it's an absolutely gorgeous country outside of Siberia. I don't know. Somebody might think that's pretty. But it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, and unfortunately is being ran by a madman.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolute
Yes.
lunatic.
And for some of the people that are out there wondering why we just don't get involved or to stop Russia, we can't. Ukraine is not part of NATO. We cannot just interfere. It is how global diplomacy works.
Yeah.
Ukraine is a sovereign solo country. We can offer them aid and what we can, but we cannot get directly involved. It is not our place. Now, if it's like they're posturing towards Finland too, Finland is also not part of NATO or any other alliance. We cannot interfere. That is why madmen like him go after countries that are by themselves, and that is also why countries find allies to make sure if they are in trouble they can get help. So we cannot interfere. It is just
I feel like a
how
lot of gamers
diplomacy
kind of
works.
understand that because they've played things like the Diplomacy series or even Civ and whatnot, where you make agreements and you can't really like step in on that agreement because you're part of this agreement and things like that. Like if you play RTSs, you probably understand.
Yeah, if you're playing FPSs, then you're usually the person on the ground doing the shooting.
yes.
But I will say this too. There's been some of the soldiers that have entered Ukraine have surrendered, and I think part of that kind of shows that they weren't really behind this either.
No.
They
I don't think a lot
realized
of them knew what they were getting into, to be honest.
I don't either. I think they really thought they were part of some type of big training session, and then the next thing they know, they're entering a country. I really think that's what was happening on their end of it.
Yeah.
And sadly,
Yes.
again,
So
bidding
some
a
of them
madman.
also thought it was just going to be walk in, really no resistance, and done.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it is so far from that. Like, this has definitely turned into a lot more than what that side was expecting, which is good. Much love to Ukraine. Hopefully they can hold out long enough for Russia to just pull out and be done. But yeah, this is where we're at. This is what's going on, and we're 4 days into this war. Hopefully this will just, it would be nice if it just ended and Russia left. That would be
And we know we're a gaming
ideal.
podcast, but we can't hide from this either.
Yeah. I mean, there are
Exactly.
certain things that are just global and you have to address them, and this is something that needs to be addressed. And it does touch parts of our, purview, because we're talking about some of the developers that are in the countries in the area and surrounding areas, because I mean Poland, which is where CD Projekt Red is, like right next door. So I mean,
Yeah, and they're accepting a lot of and I just actually watched a video on it this morning. There's a lot of humanitarian issues, so the money that is going to go from that charity is going to help a lot of these people out that are being displaced. Ireland decided that they would go ahead and grant visas from anybody from Ukraine as well. So this will give an opportunity for them maybe to get to Ireland as well, to give them a better life, a life that away from Russia essentially. No matter how it turns out at the end of the day, at least we know that those people will be safe.
and I swear, if I see any post pop up in the next 6 months to a year that's complaining about Stalker being delayed, I will find you and punch you in the face.
I know, right?
Yeah, like that's just not good. But yeah, like, we're all gamers, but at the end of the day, we're all humans, and this affects all of us.
Yep.
So that's a good place where I think we should wrap it up for this part. We could go ahead and get back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
Irregularly scheduled distraction from the real world.
Yes, that's enough real world. Let's go ahead and escape a little bit again. So what have you guys played this week?
Well, I have, of course, played some Icarus. And with Icarus, I really am enjoying what they're doing with the game, because they just changed it. Remember, one of my bitches is that once you got to 40, you
got
couldn't
cut
get any more
off?
talent points, right?
Right.
They raised it to 50.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
And one of my
Oh.
complaints was the fact that solo took up some of the stuff, right? They now give you solo points on top of your regular points.
Oh.
So it did change some of the aspects of how the game's playing out, which is good. I do feel bad for No Pants, because one of the things that No Pants did, and I talked about before, which is he has this 1% crit that he can hit any block that he wants to, and when he does, he has the possibility of hitting it, and that rock will just completely go into his inventory. Well, he did that with a cave opening and ended up with 10,000 pieces of stone. Well, one of the ways that we get away from, if we're not near one of our housing and we don't want to go into a cave and fight worms, one of the ways that we get away from the storms is to dig a hole into a rock and hide in it while the storm goes over, so it doesn't hurt us. And he can't hide right now because that 1% is 40% for him. He'll hit 3 swings and all of a sudden you'll hear him go, shit.
Broke the
I'll
rock.
go, broke the rock? Yeah. Goes the next one, shit.
Damn.
Oh my god. And it only takes 6 swings to get inside of a rock to be able to protect yourself. So I know he's not going far. But it's one of the funniest things.
Oops.
Him having to deal with it. We are enjoying it. We're finishing up our last part. What we had to do is it was kind of a dumb thing, which was you had to gather it was carrots, watermelons, pumpkins, and something else. I can't remember what the other one was. And you had to gather as many as you could. And it was 400 of these, which carrots are really hard to find. Pumpkins are usually really easy to find. And we get over and we couldn't find pumpkins. That was the last one that we had that we couldn't find. And then the other ship that drops is for hunting. So you have to drop off leather, all this stuff. Well, we were there so long trying to get the other stuff, with the exception of the amount of meat, which was 600 pieces of cooked meat. With the exception of that, we were able to just drop everything off into the other ship, and then we took 300 pieces of meat right off the bat, and then we had to wait for the others to cook. But we got to the other side where the meat's at, and I'm picking up 12 pumpkins at a time, 10 watermelons at a time. And I'm like,
Lord.
okay, so the secret to this mission is to make both drop at the same time. And then just when you're dropping off meat, pick up all the stuff on the way back to the other one. But it's such a long distance. It's just like insane. But enjoying that. Went back to Splitgate for a little bit on Monday. And we'll be doing Apex tomorrow night. Because I just want to get back to doing a little bit of FPS. And I really enjoyed the Splitgate stuff. And we finally went up against somebody that I'm not going to say they're professional by any means, but oh my God, they were on a whole new level when it came to the portals.
Right.
And so it's been like 3 months since we played. And so we weren't wrecking anybody by any means, but we were holding our own. Right.
Okay.
And some of them we could get really good on, but these guys came in and they figured out the angles to be able to jump to a certain point and hit one across the room. And then they would hit the little piece next to them and jump through the portal and get behind you really quick, like at the beginning of one of the games. And I'm like, holy crap, these guys are on a whole new level. And we beat them the first round and we were like, okay, cool. We beat them the first round. Awesome. And we like stomped the shit out of the first round. They were sandbagging. They had to have been, because the next thing we're just getting annihilated for the rest of the rounds. It's like, we can't even keep up with this. Like, I know exactly where they're going to hit. I know what's going to happen. No. You couldn't.
They definitely sandbagged your ass on that first round.
Damn.
Yes, they did. But it was really fun going back into it. And then my birthday was this week. And so I ended up playing, going back to Sea of Thieves. It's been a while since I played it. And old man and I played and playing through the new stuff for Sea of Thieves. And Sea of Thieves has this thing now where they've got adventures that are they're timed adventures in the fact of how long they're going to be in the actual world.
Okay.
And
It's a rotating
that
playlist style.
Yeah, and that storyline changes every 2 to 4 weeks. And goes through, which is how it started to start with. Like if you think about when Merrick, which is when the Meg was first introduced and all that stuff, that was a timed event, something you can't go back to ever again. It's doing the same thing. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. It does introduce this fog that's extremely thick.
Oh boy.
You can't see outside of the fog, it surrounds an island and you can't see outside of that. It introduced a character who I cannot think of her name right now off the top of my head. And you have to do stuff for her. And she'll give you a little bit of things to do, and then you have to go search for the next thing to get the storyline, and then you'll finish the storyline. Like I've got one more mission to do for it. And once you finish that storyline, then you're good for an entire month till the next part of the storyline goes along, which is, I'm like, that's cool. But if you're trying to tell your friend who's used to play and you missed a month, they're going to miss a lot of information because you got a good amount of information out of it. And it's just kind of weird. They put a buoy wherever she's at. So if you see the buoy near one of the clouded islands, you know she's there. So if you wanted to drop something off at it with her or whatever, you could. But it had to have been the first fight that I'll ever say this about Sea of Thieves. I have never had a fight in Sea of Thieves that was the most horrible piece of shit fight I have ever seen in my life. Skeletons were harder than this. It was like you took a lot of swings, but as for the actual fight back, skeletons fight harder than this dude did. And it was the first fight. I get in and like, I think he hit me once. I hit him like 100 times. Old man hit him like 100 times and he finally dies. But he hit me once and maybe him once. And that was it. It was the worst fight they have ever done. I'm like, think of Briggsy, how hard that Briggsy fight is, or
let's not.
Whatever, Briggsy fight's awful. If you don't have a boat, that's a horrible fight, man.
Yeah, I know. Some of the captain fights are ridiculous. You sit there and hit them or blow them up and shoot them and shoot them and shoot them and shoot them, and they never go down. It's like, does this thing actually have a health bar, or you just gotta hit it for like 20 minutes?
You gotta hit it until he dies. Like, there's no way to know, and there's no system to it either. You know, like with with Briggsy, would pull the skeletons up around to help protect herself, and then she had that drop down that she would shoot you off, and a lot of the skeleton lords and stuff would have that too.
Yeah.
This was nothing. Like, it was literally like some skeletons would pop up that were just part of the world, but then you're just sitting there hitting this thing over and over again, and finally it died, and I was like, really? And it dropped like a little thing, picked it up, and had to take it back to the woman that I can't remember her name now. But
Nice.
I had to take it back to her, which she was on the same island. I just had to find her. But it was just kind of like, really? Like, this was it? This is what you had for me? Like, you build up for an adventure, and then it's like, and easiest fight you'll ever have to deal with. Got it. Cool. Like, afterwards was harder because then the crab people started popping up.
The crab people.
That's what they are. They're the crab people.
Crab people. Sorry.
So all of those started popping back up and things, and it was like, okay, this is more difficult than when I just had to fight. That's sad. So hopefully second adventure is better. That's all I can say at that point, because that was awful. Absolutely awful. And they do better, Sea of Thieves. I expect better from you, Rare. Come on, man. I expect better. Like, you got rid of the arena because you didn't realize that the arena was going to be as hard to take care of. And then people didn't really want to play the arena, but it was going to be that difficult to take care of, which I didn't know this until recently. The arena, part of the reason it was so difficult to take care of is if you change the existing world, so the regular PvE, PvPvE, that one.
Words are hard.
Yeah. The regular, in this case, letters. The if you wanted to take care of that regular world and change it in any way, it changed the arena because the arena is actually rendered inside of the actual world.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's why it was so hard for them to deal with the arena, and it'd take long. But now they eliminate the arena, it makes it easier for them to change the regular world. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But it's just like, do better. Like, I don't know who you had in charge of this, but this was awful. Like, this should be a little bit difficult. And I get it. Maybe it's going to be one of those things as the adventure continues, each person gets a little bit more difficult, but it should be on the same level fighting wise as a skeleton or a little more.
Right.
Because it's a boss, right? A little mini boss. But he wasn't. So that was it. That's the games I played. I enjoyed the games I played, but except for the boss battle. It sucked.
So I didn't realize that I had left the door to my office open, and I just want to apologize if you can hear audio bleed between mine and Chicken's tracks because the door was open. I didn't even realize. I was like, why is it so chilly in here? It's usually so warm. Door is open. Door is open. So that's what I was doing when I was, busy a second ago. But as far as what I've played this recently, not a lot. I've had less time lately. But I did play some Mass Effect today, and your squad is generally pretty good about, like, if you're shooting, they'll either duck under your line of fire or they'll just, move out of the way or whatever, stay in cover if you're shooting past them. Not today. Today, Thane and Garrus decided that I did not need, I guess they wanted me to take the pacifist route, even though it was Garrus's loyalty mission, so I'm like, because every time I'm using a sniper rifle, I would, aim down sights real quick, and in my scope, I would see just Thane walk in front of me, or Garrus would pop out from wherever he was in cover and in front of me, and I'm like, I want to help,
you don't have a very good track record of a sniper rifle.
I do in this game. In Mass Effect, I'm fine. Except for when Garrus popped out of the door, and I right when I was pulling the trigger, he popped out of cover and was like, friendly fire, same team. I'm like, then don't stand in front of me. What are you doing?
Hey, this sounds oddly familiar. I wonder if it's the AI or if it's the shooter.
It is the AI. They're usually so much better about it. I'm like, what is going on today?
I don't know. It sounds oddly familiar. Well, good. Why'd you guys get in front of my gun? Well, fucker, look where you're shooting.
I was. He just popped out of cover.
Sure. I bet that's the same thing that happened to the other folks, too. They just happened to get in front of your gun.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
There's just certain things you remember about all of our game. Like each one of us remembers something about each person's gameplay. And
Hey, bring it on. What you got about my gameplay?
about you're aggressive as shit, man. You like
Yeah.
yell at everybody.
Oh, really?
Wait, are
That
we
come-
getting me and
I
him
mean-
confused?
I was about to say, are we getting me and her confused?
He's just very tactical. I am just get out of my way. I am
Well,
dangerous.
when I say yell, I mean bark orders. It's more of a,
Yes.
Hey, sometimes you need leadership to be able to tell people what to do. Because, oh my god, do they just kind of stand there and go, where do I shoot? The enemies.
Well, we also played some Project Zomboid, and we've been hanging around our little safe house area because for like 2 weeks in game time, Kat had a broken leg. Thanks, Baka. And so she couldn't really go and do anything. So we've been kind of hanging around, and finally she's fine. So we were like, let's go do a supply run to this place over here. And so we all got in vehicles and went down to the place. And literally the first little set of zombies that come up, I get bit. Like, it was like the first one I engaged with, and it was just like, fuck you in particular, is what that game said to me. And that was frustrating, but it's like, whatever, I'll be right back. I'm gonna make a remake and come back, and I had some issues doing that. But whilst I was trying to get back, Kat, who's been locked in the house for 2 weeks, was with Baka, who she thought was watching her back. Too. And then he got into a cop car next to her and turned on the sirens, which surprisingly attracts a lot of zombies. So as you can imagine, Kat, who just got finished being, basically bedridden for 2 weeks, died. And had to respawn and try to run back herself.
Now understand, in Project Zomboid, when you read books, you get increased experience gains for that skill. So she spent the last 2 weeks reading all of the books, so she had all of the experience boosts on for everything. And then she died.
Mm-hmm.
And you lose that when you die.
Oh.
Ooh.
That's gotta be frustrating.
Oh yes. So much so. I mean, there's only so much you can take.
So hold on. I got to give Baka an opportunity to explain the situation.
There is no
Did you know
did
she was
tell
there?
her to go back to the car and over there with Chicken twice, and because my original idea was I was going to get the zombies out and kite them around, which I did for a while, and just kill them out and clear them out of the trailer park and just be done with the nonsense. She did not listen.
Okay,
times.
I did not
she
hear
tried
you tell
to
her to go with Chicken, because Chicken said he was coming back to pick me up because I was just coming back from my death run. You did not tell her.
I guess neither
she
one
said,
of you
is somebody
heard?
still over here with me? And Chicken said,
She-
yes,
hold on.
Baka is there.
Hold on, I've got the best memory here. I left her in the house. After we got into the house, it was next to where the police car was. She came into the house with me, and she was searching through the house, and I left because Griff said that she was close, and I was like, all right. I didn't say anything, and I just left her. So I was like, all right, and she's not that far. I'm just going to go back to the diner to help Griff clear out when she gets closer. And she said, oh, I'm over here by myself. The Chicken left me. And I was like, you know how to get back to the diner? And Baka said, no, I'm still here nearby. I'm trying to hotwire the police car. And I was like, why are you trying to hotwire the police car? And I didn't, it did not connect. So I was like, okay, he's with her. They're good. And then I start hearing the siren go off. And I'm like, what the fuck is the siren go? What the fuck are you doing with the police car? And I thought he was driving it around. No, he just got in the motherfucker and turned on the siren.
Yeah.
And then they started coming, and she got out of the house, and she was trying to fight them off, and she got overwhelmed and died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she got
I guess
wrecked.
no one heard the part where I said go back over with Chicken.
No, nobody heard any part of
Literally
that.
no one
The
heard
last-
that, ever.
The last thing I heard from you was, I'm trying to hotwire the car. That was the last thing I heard, and I was like, okay, I don't know why he's trying to hotwire the car.
We have plenty.
I was like, maybe he's just trying to move it so that we can get over it.
Chicken and I, while we were waiting on Kat, were like, okay, we know where all of those zombies are at because they're next to that police car. We're going to go ahead and go way over here to scavenge for supplies on the opposite side of the trailer park. And we're in a house, and I hear...
To be fair, when y'all
like,
say,
are you
we're going to
driving
go over
over
here, I have no indication where here is.
You could have asked. Baka's like, I'm leading the zombies around with the car right friggin' next to us.
So we had to proceed to gently escape from the trailer park while there are zombies just flowing
Everywhere,
in
because
from
now
every
he's spread
direction.
the whole trailer park wide.
Oh, God.
Because they're not like, they don't stick on a target forever. So if he's going faster than them, some of them start falling off. So he's just leaving these little like debris pockets of zombies everywhere whilst he's driving around without knowing where anybody is, but knowing that we're in the area.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, we are the best and most cohesive team ever.
On the plus side,
usually I die
katana.
when we go out as a group. This time, those two died.
On the plus side, Cat got a katana out of it.
Yeah, finally.
It was in the horde of one of the hordes I attracted, so I killed all them and got the katana.
Wow.
So she lost all the knowledge, but she got a sword, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if that's exactly an equivalent trade, but...
Well, okay, to be fair, the knowledge thing, she can go back and reread the books.
But does she want to spend 2 weeks
XP.
again, or are you just going to break her leg so she has to sit at home and read again?
I mean, I've got a crowbar. So
Busting kneecaps.
Well, she has her own truck now.
How'd you break her leg to start with?
Car
He
accident.
hit a tree. We
okay,
lagged, and
so
he hit a tree.
here's what happened with that one. We were all heading back, and Red was behind me, and for some reason, like, we kind of just hit a lag spike somewhere along the way, and Red sideswiped into the car, and it knocked me off to the road, and I went plowing into a tree, and it broke Cat's leg.
It did.
Yep, it did. And it takes a week to 2 weeks in-game time to heal from a broken bone. So,
Oh,
yeah. Luckily, she has a level 5 doctor, so
Yeah. Thanks, Chicken, for being the doctor.
no problem. I mean, they've killed all my other people so far, so...
I think you were a doctor in one of your previous lives as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was,
we
full
killed him
circling
too.
I went from a nurse for my first character to a firefighter for my second character to a lumberjack for my third character to and I think this is my fourth character, which is an actual doctor this time. So.
I think it's funny that you went
No,
like,
you
medical
went
field,
like
first
copper or
responder,
something, didn't you?
lumberjack, and then doctor.
The lumberjack was I don't give a fuck at this point. I got tired of dying because I went out with them again and I died, so I was like, fuck this. I'm making a lumberjack, and I went off into the woods and built a house and just ignored them for like 2 weeks.
Well, that house is probably gone now.
Yeah, it's probably rotted and decayed at this point.
What about you two, Chicken and Baka? What'd you do aside from our shenanigans in Zomboid?
WoW stuff, and I finally beat Metroid.
Yay! Finally.
Yay!
If I had a party popper, I'd pop it. But then
Yay.
Griff would shoot me, so we're going to go ahead and skip that.
Then
What the
we have
mute
two
buttons
pops
for?
going off in stream.
Yeah. Well, congrats. How was the ending?
Yes.
I enjoyed it. Total, like, game wise, because I didn't sit and just play it straight. Like, I'd play it for a little bit here and there.
Savoring
Little
it.
over 11 hours total in gameplay to beat it.
Okay.
Nice. You ready for hardcore mode now?
New Game
I
Plus?
haven't unlocked hardcore mode. I have to go through hard mode now.
Oh.
I went through normal, although it did give me the casual easy mode already unlocked.
Wait,
So,
shouldn't that be default?
I don't know. It didn't update and unlock it for some reason.
Yeah, basically it gives you the casual, the normal, and then the hard mode, and the nightmare or hardcore. You have to beat the game on hard because hardcore is one hit, you die,
Right.
no damage. Basically a damageless run, which is just ridiculously
So,
difficult.
there's no point in collecting energy tanks or throughout.
Exactly. You just die. So
Is it permadeath? Like you guys start all the way over again, or is it just?
No.
It's still
I don't
save
think
point?
so. I think it's just a one-shot kill. You can
I'm-
basically restart at the checkpoint.
I'm sure give it a while, and there are going to be people that make that a thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, no
Especially
doubt.
for the CDQ runs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I finished Pokemon, like fully finished. Okay, I'd say like 80% finished Pokemon. I didn't finish out the entire research part of the Pokedex, which would have taken an exorbitant amount of time. But I did capture all of the Pokemon, 240 out of 242, because the last two I can't capture unless I own Pokemon Sword or Shield and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Pearl. So I can't get the last two
That sucks so bad. I'm frustrated
unless I
for
own
you.
the other two. But it is what it is. I can't make it. But I did catch all 240, and I got to fight the last boss, and I had to use easy mode to do it because oh my god, it's something else. When you think of Pokemon, you don't think of like Dark Souls-esque style, but it is extremely Dark Souls-esque style. Like you've got to move. It is a rhythm-based game. You have to dodge hit in perfect sync every time because you've only got like 5 hits before you go down, and there's no regenning. You do not get health back. You basically only have 5 hits to take him all the way down. So I got him to like halfway before I fell, and I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to continue. They give you an easy mode too. You can continue your battle, and then it'll keep your the health gauge where it was at, and you can start over again. You can do it like that, or you could just play the hardcore style, which is you restart the battle from the beginning, and you play it all the way through. Which the last boss is the only one that I did that with. So, but he is definitely difficult, or they are definitely difficult. It's an omnipotent being, so I don't think it has a gender. So, but yes, I finished that, and I've been playing WoW, and I think that's just about it. I have not
You finished
played.
it just in time for some DLC.
Yes, actually, nice
you?
little segue. Oh wait, did I not put that article in there?
You didn't put it in here.
I thought
It's in your gaming section.
Okay, I thought I put that in there because I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a perfect way to segue into it.
Is it getting DLC already?
Yes, actually, it is.
It was announced today.
Also
Today
announced
is
the new Pokemon.
today's the anniversary of the original coming out.
Oh, maybe that's
Yes.
why I didn't see it, because it was today. I've been busy this morning.
But yes, I was just looking at it. Here's what's in the new update. Okay. They are adding a new challenge battle called the Eternal Battle Reverie, which is basically horde mode for Pokemon. You basically go to sleep in your bunkhouse, and you can do Pokemon battles over and over and over and over. Like you can do as many Pokemon battles in a row until you lose. So that's an interesting way to do it. You also get a chance to battle powerful opponents like multiple legendaries at the same time, and things like that. The last because there's a boss fight at the end of the game, then there's a Pokemon battle at the end of the game. That Pokemon battle was really difficult. Much kudos to that. Even if you out level in this game, it's still not enough to just be able to go, oh yeah, I'm one shot everything. They're gonna one shot you just as quickly as you will one shot them. Like that last battle is like, I one shot you, and he throws out something. It's like, okay, I'm gonna one shot you. It's like, okay, I'll throw out something you're weak to. One shot you. Okay, well I'm gonna throw something
Just
you're
back
weak
and
to.
forth.
Yeah, like multiple times it was down to one Pokemon each, and it's like, God. And you think that you win. Like you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I got this. I got one Pokemon left. I beat you, and then the final boss comes out, and you're like, oh, I've got to fight this, and then you're like, oh my God, and then you win it, and it's like, oh yeah, don't forget about phase 2, and it's like, okay, so you want me to beat 8 Pokemon in a row when you're one-shotting each one of them? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I remember being a little frustrated.
Yeah, I had to readjust my team, and like you have to play it just right so that you can come out ahead enough so that at the end you're just not strangled for power.
That's good though that you got that there's strategy there as well.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, definitely. And in order to get that, you have to capture all the Pokemon. Otherwise, you could beat the main story, and then you have to capture all of the Pokemon to get the final boss fight, which is nice. But yeah, that's it for Arceus and the next part of DLC, which is free. It's Daybreak version 1.1. So if you want some more Pokemon Arceus, you get that, and you'll get some Ultra Balls and Gigaton Balls and Jet Balls. So for free for the Pokemon Day. And they announced Pokemon Generation 9, which is Pokemon Violet.
Scarlet and
I
Violet.
was about to ask. What that
Scarlet and Violet, which is Generation 9. There are no new types of Pokemon. So, which is good. There are 18 types of Pokemon. So, that's plenty.
Oh, okay. Types like grass and fire. I thought you meant there were
like
no
class.
new Pokemon in general. I'm sorry.
No. I'm sure there are.
I was a little confused because I'm not Pokemon
literate. There's new starters. So
yeah, there's new starters. There's a duck, like just a
And
legitimate.
the duck looks
100%
awesome.
duck.
I want that duck so bad.
So, yeah, that's it for Pokemon Day and what I've played.
yeah, well, one of them is like a grass cat.
Yes, grass cat, a crocodile, and a duck.
That's a crocodile?
Alligator.
I mean, I'm just asking. It doesn't look like either one, so I was just wondering.
I mean, what else would it be at this point? I mean,
I don't know. It's a Pokemon, so I mean, they are kind of based on real things, but not really.
I mean, the other two are kind of based on like I mean, you got a cat and a duck, and
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that is absolutely a crocodile. Like, I'm looking at the picture of them right here. Yeah, it's definitely a crocodile.
Word. Croc.
I don't think
It was a good presentation too, like the way that they revealed it. The guy, because it's like there's no indication that's what it is until you get to a certain room, and then that shows you the whole thing, which I thought was pretty neat. The world looks really nice. I like the way that they did it, and then the way they revealed the starters was cool too, because they're drawn on a wall,
Yeah.
which is neat.
Oh, I guess the little green cat is what's all over Twitter right now.
Yeah, it's a cat, an alligator,
people
and a duck.
are going nuts for the cat.
Yeah. So it feels like this time around they just went really, really basic.
Really cutesy.
I like that though. Like after coming off something that, is supposed to be primitive Pokemon world like you just played, going to something that's very basic on the way they did. Because I mean, when you got to the point that you had like keys and trash bags and shit like that were Pokemon, having something that's really basic, I kind of like.
Yeah, and also they're theorizing that it's going to be a Spain-based region. So
Ooh,
Neat.
Game Freak loves to just pick places around the world and just base their continents on, which is nice. I love to see tons of representation in the worlds.
I hope that the kitty cat does not evolve into like a person-looking thing.
An anthropomorphic cat.
Yes, I want
person.
it to stay a kitty. Like the thing.
I don't think it's going to be a kitty,
using.
but I think could grow to a cat-like character.
Yeah.
Like more like a bigger kitty, right? Like
the
real
one
life.
that the chicken was using, the black and blue one that he was using a lot.
Oh, the Luxray.
Yeah, that one.
The giant
That one
kitty.
was cute, and it was like a big cat. It was just a big kitty. It was a little kitty, and then it was a big kitty.
I don't think. If I had to guess, I don't think that it will be anthropomorphic. If looking at Generation 2, which has Chikorita, Totodile, and Cyndaquil is a four-legged one that turns upright. Totodile is an upright one that stays upright, and Chikorita is a four-legged one that stays four-legged. Two of these are two-legged. I guarantee they'll evolve to be bipedal and taller, and the cat will probably stay four-legged. So I don't think they're going to have all four of them turn bipedal, or three of them turn bipedal. So
It could almost go like Cringer and Battle Cat based on the way that it looks in the green color.
yeah, that could be a route.
Then you could turn it into a riding mount,
Right.
in the game and get around.
Mm-hmm. Put your you could either dress as Adam or you could dress as He-Man. You take your choice.
They have said that it is going to be a fully open world exploration style game where you see the Pokemon in live action. So it looks like they are taking Pokemon Arceus and moving it to a mainstream game.
They did that with Sword and Shield as well.
I thought that it was only in certain areas where the Pokemon were full live actioned. Like the training fields and whatever.
No, the main area, like you would see the Pokemon run around.
Right, but it had battle sequences and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay, that's what you're talking about. I was thinking something else.
So that
Yeah,
you're
like-
thinking the battle style is going to be the same as what you're saying.
Yeah, basically it's a full interaction like in Pokemon Arceus where you just throw it and the battle commences exactly right there, so it creates a more live action style world
I'd be
instead
okay
of
with
it
that.
being like that, which I think is just perfect, incredible. I love what they did in Arceus is exactly what the main series needs because it feels so perfect. There's also there's a creaking door, so I apologize for that on the back.
Oh,
Too funny. Move on to some more news.
sure.
Yeah.
What else?
Um,
Well, like a handful of things, isn't
In
there?
in the world of who couldn't see this coming, Bethesda's PC launcher is shutting down.
Because
okay,
everybody was
first of
using
all-
it. Tragedy.
Okay, so absolutely hilarious because Bethesda takes game off Steam's because they're going to launch their own client. Client fails, they're putting all of their games back on Steam and letting you move your wallet back to Steam. Like,
No, I tell you what it is. It's not that the client fails. It got bought by Microsoft. Microsoft's we already have a client that's got all your games on it. Put the shit on Steam because that's what we do with our other games too. Because some people don't like our client.
yeah, that's very true. That is
Yeah,
very
that's all
true.
it was. It's like, why would we have a third client? That makes no sense.
Like I don't know. Microsoft and Steam must have like this like really good partnership behind the scenes because Gabe's like, yeah, you want to put Game Pass on on Steam, man? We'll get it worked up. We'll have it all set up. We'll probably make you a whole separate client for the Game Pass and just integrate it right into Steam, and people can sub to it and have a whole Xbox library on the Steam client. It's like, wow, you guys are like really homeboys here going, aren't you? You're just gonna absolutely decimate the Epic Games. Like their little client is just gonna, if that ever happens, if that
Hey, you
partnership
leave
happens,
Epic Games alone. They have a shopping cart now.
It took
Yes,
them a
all
while.
hell the shopping cart.
Like, Microsoft's little client thing for their Game Pass sucks. The reviews, like, it just does not feel clean and sleek. And I bet if they integrated it onto Steam, where it took more of Steam's style, where you get a better review system, ratings, and things like that, it would look so much sleeker.
I think what they're doing with theirs is trying to keep familiarity for people that were Xbox gamers and moving over to PC. But I don't disagree with your sentiment on that. I think you should choice it. Like if you want to stick with the size that's there, fine. But then you should have the availability to be able to move it over to something similar to Steam, where it's more of a list system versus picture system. And yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it can get confusing if you're not familiar with Microsoft shit to start with,
And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but my damn thing fucking is slow. Like, I try to search games, and it just does not search really well, or it takes seconds for it to kind
You
of
have
pop up.
problems
It's
with
just a
yours
little-
anyway, because that's your download speed is even slow.
Yeah, true. Like, I
It's
just don't
weird.
care for the client. I like my Game Pass, but I just don't care much for the Game Pass clients.
Client's okay to me. I agree with that. It's kind of mediocre.
Yeah, it is definitely mediocre. It's basically it's a little bit of Epic's client. So
I would say Epic's more of its client since it came first, and it also had a shopping cart first.
I mean, it's a lot worse than Steam client. Steam client came first.
Technically, yes, you're correct. They were just trying to modernize it because people like pictures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like the tile system.
Mm-hmm. We've had it all since Windows 8, man. What's wrong with you?
Don't bring me back to Windows 8. Nobody wants to go back to Windows Vista.
Oh God, no. No.
You know what's kind of funny
What?
about this is you posted that link or the link to this article, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot they had a launcher. That's literally how often I've ever used it to boot up any of my Bethesda games.
Yeah, I know. I don't use it for most Bethesda games either.
Those that might be worried, those are the people that might have actually used it. Just so you know, all except I think it's Wolfenstein Youngblood. All the information that you have for the games will be transferred to Steam too. So
Cool.
it is where if you've got to save games in their cloud system, it gets moved over. So, which is neat. I mean, it's pretty cool little.
Nice to know it's, easy to integrate like that.
Mm-hmm. And you'll still have to log into your Bethesda account just like you do. I mean, most people have some type of account now to log into. Why not?
The perfect segue, since we were already talking about Steam, and we all are not fans of NFTs anyway. I know everybody sees that cat right there.
Yeah, she's trying to break in.
Gabe Newell explains why Steam is banning or has banned NFTs.
Because they suck.
They're sketchy. It's too volatile, and there's way too many scams. And I mean, Steam already deals enough with scams and crappy stuff anyway with their full open door policy. So they really don't want to have to deal with this, which I am completely fine. And they're reasonable on that. It's sketchy, it's volatile, and they just don't want to deal with it. Which, I mean, it's completely understandable.
Well, and the thing is at some point somebody's liable.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
And if you're making billions of dollars, you don't want to be the one liable.
No.
So, and it's a whole lot harder to kind of to deal with that shit. And the thing that kills me about it is when you start looking through it, it's the same information that we've said over and over again. It's a great idea. It's just not being implemented correctly. There's no way to, you know what I mean? Like, the idea is good, just not with the chaotic world that we currently have. It needs to be better regulated.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's basically what he says. I mean, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have NFTs of his own that he owns. It doesn't mean that he doesn't have crypto of his own that he owns. You know what I mean? It's not for Steam. And I don't disagree with that. I think you keep it out of the gaming world for the most part, unless you could do exactly what we talked about before, which is have a way of reselling a game that you've already used to get a little bit of your money back. I paid $5 for this game and I beat it in 4 hours. Oh wait, that was the Bright Memory Infinite game. It was a total of 6. But it's like I paid this amount. Let me resell it. I can sell it for $1.50, whatever. You give a cut back to whoever originally gave the game, and then I get $1 off of it or whatever. It's just that's a better way to handle it than what they're currently trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. So, there is absolutely no good way to segue into this last.
Well, we were talking about Microsoft earlier, so.
Okay, Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard recently, and part of that is, of course, you got all the lawsuits and stuff that are going on when it comes to the way Activision's been handling their real life crap that they've got going on. Well, now you have 2 shareholders that are suing the good old Activision Blizzard to try to stop the sale of Microsoft purchasing it. Kyle Watson's the first one from California, and basically both lawsuits are exactly the same. The way they're done, the other Shiva Stein is the other one, but in both cases, it's saying I love the fact that it's not in the best interest of Activision Blizzard for them to sell to Microsoft. That's one of the complaints.
I disagree with that. Highly.
Right.
Most people
nor is it for the shareholders. The shareholders that currently paid $75 a share now are going to get $95 a share. But sure, it's not good for you. But they're saying that basically the reason they did it is that they pushed it through the way that they did was so they could get a big payout immediate. Which June 2023 evidently is immediate. Immediately. But I don't really see that going through. I think this Activision Blizzard's lawyers are like, yes, finally something we can win after all the shit that's been going on. Because I don't see this being an issue in the long run. And then the other person, the Stein person, is somebody that evidently sues a lot, has 124 security lawsuits from 2018 to 2020. 124 of them, half of which have been voluntarily dismissed.
Okay, then.
Oh my god.
So I don't see that being a major issue for this sale in any way whatsoever. I mean, I think the federal government is going to be the bigger hill to climb at the end of the day. But yeah, so sorry, Kyle Watson. I don't know you, but
I have a feeling you're gonna.
I
lose.
feel like a lawyer has duped you in some way.
He's
get
one of
your
the
money.
shareholders, right?
Yes.
So one of the comments says they're suing because, as far as they're concerned, the board of directors are screwing them over by agreeing to personal payouts instead of securing the best deal for the shareholders, which is what they should be doing. So I guess if you put it in that light, I guess I can kind of see why he's upset.
Yeah, but
mean,
it's
you're
the
still
shareholders
thinking-
get $95 a share, which is worth at the time before the purchase happened was worth $35 more per share than it was worth. So it's actually worth a ton more than it's worth. Like everybody, that's the reason that 69 point whatever it was billion dollars that they're paying for him was so astronomical, because they're like, the shares not even close to worth that.
Yeah.
So the only reason that
Okay.
Microsoft would have agreed to it was because they saw the potential for the future of what was sitting there that's dead currently. How can we make money off of everything else that you own? Because it was not worth that. Like you're probably looking at 40 billion is really what the company's
Microsoft
worth.
went all in. They were like, we are going to buy this. We are going to offer you a deal that you are not going to turn your back on. And they were like,
An
holy
offer you
shit,
can't
really?
refuse.
Pretty much. And they were like, really? 25% above market share? Yeah. And they're like,
And
in
it still
cash?
blows my mind because
Yeah.
I still see articles about people talking about a golden parachute for douchebag that we hate.
Yeah.
It's the head-
Yeah, I know
head
his
of
name.
Activision.
Bobby
Kotick.
Kotick.
So with for Kotick, and I'm like, have none of you researched when his contract is up? Like, not one soul has looked at his contract. Even people that have written articles about his contract and when it's up are still saying it. Like, it's the same company, but not the same author. You know, like, I'm like, really? Like, he's not going to get, and they're like, he's going to end up with a $15 million payout. And I was like, that's better than the $352 million they'd have to pay him now.
Oh, yeah. Microsoft is going to let this deal slide. And then when his contract is up, they're going to be like, deuces, take your money, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he's just going to walk away and go get a job being, I don't know.
A douchebag somewhere else.
Yeah, a douchebag somewhere else. Making that much every year.
I mean, he
too.
got a bonus of like 100 and something million just a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you know, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good for a while. Now he's did the right thing and is making a paycheck of the minimum that you can make in California, which is $65,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That should tell you everything you need to know about the guy, right? Such a good guy. It's like, maybe because I got hundreds of millions of dollars to live on. Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Could be. So crazy. Anything else?
No.
No, that's it.
That was kind of a fast show.
It was.
I mean,
We had all that stuff to talk at the beginning, but it was kind of thrown all together because it was. Which, by the way, when you all see the articles,
It looks
It's
like you're
literally
scrolling past
the-
the same one like 3 times.
yeah, I legit thought Chicken kept posting the same one over and over again.
Because they use the same thumbnail.
Yep,
They're
Mhm.
different articles.
So-
They just have the same thumbnail.
exactly.
Solidarity.
But exactly. So we do appreciate everybody who hangs out with us each every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Griff.
At Griff Slynam.
Check out Chicken.
at Elite Chicken Through and Through.
Check out Baka.
And Baka Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Griff's YouTube channel where she's playing through Dragon Age Origins. She's got all the games and stuff, and you can just watch her play through all the games. And make sure you hit the little sub button and the little bell button.
Yeah.
So that way you can get the notifications, you know, as they pop up. It's awesome. Go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken, you finished the game. What you got, bro?
Nothing. Oh my god. The seasons have started, so streams are going to be intermittent from here on out. If I do get to pop on, it'll be for something random. I don't think there's going to be long-term continuation like we have. Pokemon is probably going to be the last game that we're going to like just settle down and play through. So we will see where we go from here. So again, just on the Discord, when I get a day that I can stream in the afternoon, you'll probably see me. And we'll just be playing stuff until the fall, in which I will
play
be
some
looking.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'll be looking at Elden Ring in the fall.
Elden Ring.
In the fall. He said in the
In
fall.
the fall. In the
Yeah.
fall.
'Cause that
Fun
one's
times.
long.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/ MDB Oak Tree, where you can check me out Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Thursday, Friday. I don't remember my own new schedule. So 4 days a week. It's nice. Every once in a while on a Saturday. It's fun. So Monday nights are FPSs, playing with some friends. Sundays, of course, is Survival Sunday with No Pants, which is funny to say if you really think about it. It's Survival Sunday with no pants.
Yeah.
Living with no pants is a little hard. So
I know, right? And then for Thursday and Fridays, I usually play through single player games on Thursdays, and then Friday has been a doing stuff with my crew, but unfortunately it's just me and old man, so I guess it's me and old man on Friday nights because nobody else is showing up. So see how it is. We've been playing some Grounded on that one, which is fun. We'll talk about that next week though, as we get a little further into it. But for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Baka.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.